IVM.
It's been another great week on IVM Podcast, and if you're not following us on social media, please do. We're at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc. On our latest episodes of The Seen and the Unseen, Amit Verma is joined by author and columnist Vivek Kaul to decode how the government uses and misuses data for optics management. On Pulyabazi, Pranay and Saurav talk to author Snigdha Poonam about her new book, Dreamers. On Football Twaddle, we have Azim Banatwala as a guest with Saru, Baru and Kumar discussing the end of the UEFA Champions League. And on Who's Your Mommy, Veda talks about mothers and how they cope with their constant sleep deprivation. As I said, it's been a great week, and please try and listen to as many of these shows as you can. And now, on to your show.
On today's Football Twaddle, we talk about Zidane's exit or resignation from Real Madrid, and then we talk about a World Cup 11 of all the players who are not going to the World Cup, and then we start a World Cup preview of Group A and Group B. I have Kumar Khanna with me on the podcast today, and it's going to be an interesting one. So stay tuned to Football Twaddle. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, welcome to Football Twaddle. Kumar, be enthusiastic and say hi.
Hello guys.
We are recording a little earlier than usual today because it's Sunil Chhetri's 100th game.
It's a big game for India.
Yeah, it's a huge game, and that is why Baru is not here, because he's already at the stadium, I don't know, celebrating Sunil
just waiting for us to join him.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to get going here. So Kumar, before we even talk a little about Chhetri later, let's talk about the biggest news in football. I mean, we couldn't even imagine that there was going to be something as big as that, which is Zidane quitting Real Madrid. How did you react to the news?
It was such a surprise. I mean, 3 consecutive Champions League. It's not been done for a very long time, since it was rebranded as the Champions League.
It has never been done.
Bayern did it, but yeah.
But not under the same manager.
That's what, yeah. Big achievement, and then suddenly you get the news that he's... And so still there's some doubt whether he's been sacked or he's quit.
No. Who has this doubt, dude? He very clearly quit Real Madrid, and he said that this team needs a lot of work to be done, and that is something why he's quitting. And he basically spoke about the pressures of working as a Real Madrid manager. What is the pressure working under as Barcelona Real Madrid manager? Pep quit, and by all accounts, Jose's 3rd season, he supposedly resigned. So let's take that at face value. Ancelotti was almost sacked, and now Zidane quit. It's like if you win, you quit. If you lose, you're sacked.
It's just that you're expected to win everything. So he did well in the Champions League, but their domestic season was pathetic by all means.
Yeah, 17 points behind Barcelona.
Yeah, and... finishing 4th in a 2-horse race is, I think, grounds for dismissal.
But, I mean, kudos to Zidane. He went out on a high, basically knowing that probably next year he can't repeat it. So now he'll be the manager who's managed for 2.5 years, won 3 Champions Leagues, and he's out.
Yeah. And then now, also with this move, now he has the pick of his options. He can get whatever club he wants. And so that's what he's decided. So he's decided to take a year off, just relax and wait for opportunity to come up.
Which is most probably the French national team, depending on how they do in the World Cup.
But again, the French national team have another contender.
Yeah. What are your impressions of what is Zidane's legacy, and how was he as a coach of Real Madrid? For me, he seemed like the perfect coach. I mean, I don't think anyone ever talks about Zidane being like this master tactician, but he absolutely knew how to keep all those egos in check and get them ready for a game day in and day out.
Yeah, again, but with teams like, say, Bayern or Barcelona or Madrid, I sometimes feel that a manager's job is more about managing egos rather than, actual tactical news or, how to get these players to play. It's more about getting these players to perform on that day. You can't teach Ronaldo, or you can't coach basically Ronaldo or
Bale. Not at this age. But do you think it had something to do with that right after Champions League final, the 2 crybabies of Real Madrid, which is Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale? They couldn't even wait till like one day or even half an hour to celebrate, and they start like bickering over like, we are not happy, it was a pleasure playing, I need to play in day out. Why did they do that?
No, but with Bale you can still understand, because he's not been getting enough opportunities. But Ronaldo coming out and saying
you can't really understand, because Bale, obviously, who asked Bale to sign a contract extension when he knew he was not getting game time? So it really, I think Zidane basically probably lost it, and he probably recognized the amount of work they have to do in the team to even start winning the league.
No, but the team is brilliant. You see from position to position. It's just that I don't think Zidane got them motivated enough or concentrated enough to concentrate on the league and perform.
Yes.
Over a period of time. So again, there are people who are very good, cup managers. You can motivate these bunch of players for one game, for one big game in a month. But to do that consistently for the year, yeah, that is still a question mark. That is still something Zidane has not been able to do.
And now, as an Arsenal fan, there's a huge possibility that Arsene Wenger may go to Real Madrid.
No, I don't think that is going to happen. There are much better, younger options available.
Who? To manage Real Madrid?
Yeah, so Pochettino is one.
But he said he's not going anywhere. He won't. And it's not...
That's what Bale said before going to...
Sure, but now...
And if Pochettino goes, Kane goes with him.
Yeah, but if Pochettino has to leave Spurs, it's going to be a huge cost.
Yeah,
Real Madrid has to pay. They don't have that much money. They can't buy players and keep getting managers of other clubs now.
Oh, then there's the Hoffenheim manager.
Nainggolan.
Again, someone who's 30, who's just starting out, and he has a good track record the past couple of years managing. So
yeah,
it would be better for Perez. And again,
just hypothetically, if Arsene Wenger is appointed Real Madrid manager, and let me even extend that, if he wins the Champions League,
I would be so happy for him. I'll be very honest, because that man deserves a Champions League trophy.
But what does that tell about Arsenal then?
No, we know about Arsenal. Like the past 10 years, there's been no financial, backing from the club to sustain those levels. You see, City has been backed by the Sheikhs for 6-8 years now.
10 years.
10 years now. Never gone beyond the quarters.
Semis they reached, no? 1 year?
No.
No?
They've never gone beyond the quarters in the Champions League.
No, okay. Yeah, so that's about Zidane. We had to talk about it, even though the season is over, I think, because it was that big a news. I was in shock when that news came. I was like, what the hell is going on? Why would he resign?
I think he was probably better to resign than, be sacked midway through the next season.
Okay, that's enough about Zidane. Listeners, we wanted to, even before we got to the World Cup group review or whatever, we wanted to make a list of World Cup playing 11 of the people or of the players whose teams are going to the World Cup, but they are not selected in their team.
And there's some big names in it.
Huge names.
Surprise selections.
Okay.
And I think the biggest has just been announced.
I know. Well, we'll come to that. So let's start with goalkeeper. Who are the big goalkeepers who are not going to the World Cup?
I think Sergio Romero is missing because of injury. But again, past couple of seasons not been playing regularly. So
what about Sven Ulreich?
Ulreich is there. Then Bernard Leno has been left out, and Kevin Trapp has been selected over him.
So if I had to ask you to choose one goalkeeper,
I would go for Bernard Leno. He had a brilliant season.
So yeah, imagine a keeper like Bernard Leno is not going to the World Cup. What about defenders? There's so many defenders, dude.
I think Alonso is top of the list for me.
There's Marcos Alonso. There's Sergio Roberto. There's Alexandro who is not going.
So we can have a list of Brazil, Spanish defenders.
Is this guy going? The Spanish guy, Laporte, the Manchester City.
Laporte is not going.
He is not.
Laporte is missing out. Carvajal is missing out.
Benedict Hovedes is not going.
Hovedes is not there. So some big names for these are all players who are playing for the top clubs. So what would be your back four out of these?
Oh, there's Alexandro who will be there.
Yeah,
but I don't know how would I. If I keep Alexandro...
So I'll take Hovedes and Laporte in centre defence.
Who would be right? Hector Bellerin is not going.
But Bellerin, I would not keep Bellerin at right back.
Would you move Marcos Alonso to right back just to see?
I think he can play at right back and Alexandro at left back.
Yeah, that's a strong, not really that strong. Benedict Hovedes, in spite of Beck being good, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, there's Bartra as well. Even he's not going.
Bartra is again.
Even he's not going to the World Cup. So that's some huge names. Midfielders.
This is the big one.
Tell me, sir, who are the midfielders?
So Leroy Sané should have been there.
What did you make of the news which came in just today that Leroy Sané has been dropped by?
Again, I can see where Lau is coming from. He already has. Marco Reus, Thomas Muller, Mesut Ozil, who are starters, confirmed starters.
Julian Brandt.
So it was between Julian Brandt and Leroy Sané. Sane had a wonderful season, but his record for Germany has not been that great.
No.
I think he's had just 1 assist, no goals.
And he played
in 12
He played
games.
against Austria.
And he was
quite bad.
Quite bad there. And again, so as a backup, I think Brandt provides him more
But
defensive
don't you think
comfort as well.
Sane should have been in any World Cup squad?
I think England would have...
Not just England, come on. Almost any World Cup squad, including Spain, Sane should have been there. But what's going on? How come he selected Brandt over Sane?
I'm telling you, Brandt is... fits more into the love philosophy. He's better defensively.
Yeah.
And when you're taking a backup, you have to consider that option as well.
Yes,
so I think Brandt can probably fit in as a wing back also.
And another player who is not going, whom you guys absolutely love and follow every Instagram story of, Jack Wilshere.
Jack Wilshere should have been on the team. When you see the players who are going...
And another player who's not going, man, this is
Fabregas.
like Fabregas, forget it. The man who scored the World Cup winning goal.
But he was again not in the shortlist as well.
And then Adrien Rabiot is not going.
Rabiot is not. Again, a big miss for France, I think. And so I was watching the France-Italy game. They were being overrun by Italy in the midfield.
Damn.
Despite a starting three of, Pogba, Kante and that Bayern fellow. What's his name?
The Bayern fellow.
Tolisso,
Yeah.
who was so good in the Champions League semi-finals.
One Champions League semi-final. The first one he was pretty crap. So who would your midfield pick be for people of the players who are not going?
I'd go for...
You will put in Leroy Sané.
I will put Leroy Sané, obviously.
Okay, who would be your two central midfielders? Jack Wilshere, one
Jack
of them?
Wilshere and Fabregas.
Not Rabiot?
Not Rabiot.
Or Javi Martinez? Even he's not going.
Javi Martinez,
There's
Wilshere,
one Mata
Wilshere
who's
and
not
Fabregas. I have a back three of Rabiot, Fabregas and Wilshere.
Okay. And Rabiot, Fabregas and Wilshere.
Yeah.
So your
So
midfield is how many?
So I play 4-5-1.
4-5-1. So there are two more midfielders, no?
Yeah,
There's Sané.
And Sané is there, and then Mata plays on the right.
Oh, so you are going to take one Mata as well.
Obviously.
And
then up front has to be the big man.
who?
Zlatan.
Yeah, but he's retired. Come on.
But he's
You
not-
No, that's like not.
If Sweden calls him, he's again going to... He's already mentioned it that, he might return.
He can mention whatever, but I think the biggest forward who's not going to the World
Sandro
Cup is
Wagner.
Sandro Wagner, I love, but Mauro Icardi.
Icardi, again, with Argentina. Argentina is such a strange team, they have so many options for attack. And when you see their defense, there's, still the same people who were playing 10 years ago.
Hey, I thought you were talking about Portugal, no?
No, even Portugal is the same. But when you see Icardi's been left out, so people are going Higuain, Messi, Dybala.
Oh, even Dybala is not going.
Dybala is going.
He's going, right?
Yeah, Dybala is going.
Icardi is not going. Morata is not going.
Morata, again.
Come on.
I thought you were talking about big players.
He is a big player. If you have to make...
In terms of price money, yes.
No, he's a generally good player. So if your 4-5-1 system, so let's go back. Goalkeeper Leno.
Yeah.
The defenders would be Alonso. Who did you say?
Hovardes, Laporte and Alexandro.
And midfield would be Jack Wilshere, Fabregas, Rabiot, Sané,
and Mata.
One Mata, and up front would be Icardi. You think this team can win the World Cup?
I think they can.
They
certainly reach the semi-finals.
Let's break it down even further. You think this team can beat England?
I think India is playing today. They can probably go and beat England.
No.
Yeah, it's such
this
a boring...
is a serious podcast, Kumar.
Yeah, and England is such a boring team.
Yeah, so let's getting back to Sané, because it's such a huge news. Why would anyone still select Brandt over Sané? Sané has had a fantastic season. How can a coach say that it has been a close call and not take Leroy Sané? Let's say if Germany lose in the semi-final.
No, but when you see their options already, the people they've taken, Sané and Brandt for that matter, I don't think Brandt will get to play even 5 minutes at the World Cup.
There's only the three players whom I absolutely cannot understand why they were not selected. One is Marcos Alonso.
Yeah.
One is Leroy Sané and one is Icardi. I mean, whatever the problems, I was reading through the history of Icardi's issues, let's say, with his teammates. They're so old now.
Yeah, no, Icardi was a temperament issue, but with Sané, it's, I think, purely a tactical call by Lau.
Oh, man. So that's our team of World Cup 11,
who will not be at the World Cup.
Of players who will not be at the World Cup. It seems like a pretty strong squad. So if there's
an even stronger squad if you consider, teams which are not qualified for the World Cup.
Oh yeah, but that's just a stupid thing. They're not qualified for the World Cup. Anyway, we take a break right now and then we get into the World Cup action. Group A and Group B preview coming up. Stay tuned to Football Twaddle.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do two men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch all the episodes on the IVM podcast app or any other podcasting app you like. Till then, keep it queer.
Welcome back to Football Twaddle. I have Kumar still with me. I mean, it's not a surprise because he is one of the hosts of the podcast. He wouldn't have gone anywhere.
No, I have to leave I can't miss the India game.
Yes.
But now getting back into the World Cup action.
Yeah, instead of talking about the Hero Intercontinental Cup, let's talk about the World Cup.
FIFA World Cup 2018.
2018. We are so excited because we are going, first of all, to Russia. But more excited than that is we are going to see almost a lot of teams we like and a lot of players we like. So, KK, let's start with Group A. Who is in Group A?
I don't know. I think
you don't know.
I think Putin rigged the draw as well.
Dude, not now. Let's come back, and then we can talk about whether it's been rigged or not.
It's a very tough group. This is the group of death.
Okay, so who are in the group? Let's rattle off: Russia, Egypt, Saudi, and Uruguay.
Yep.
Okay, let's start with the first question. Who's going to top the group? Or is this group only about Mo Salah?
I think Mo Salah might not be available for the first couple of games from the news is coming
from the latest which we read, I think first game he won't be available.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So again, see Russia, Saudi Arabia, Russia has a big chance of winning. That's the opening game of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? Uruguay, I think Uruguay has to top the group.
No, so I mean, let's go. Russia, have you seen the players? They have Yuri Zhirkov still playing for Russia.
No, but Russia has a good team.
No, they don't. They're really bad.
They do.
It's just surprising that they're still in group and they may have a chance to grow to the knockout stage of the.
I think can Mo Salah carry Egypt into the group stages?
Egypt has a great team. And Uruguay is managed by Oscar Tabarez.
Yeah. Uruguay has
been there for like donkey's years.
Uruguay is going to top the group. It has to be between Egypt and Russia for the second spot.
Are you discounting Saudi Arabia, man?
Yes.
Why?
Just the Desert Eagles.
Do you know who Germany is playing and a friendly before they head off to Russia?
Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
So they have to win something before they go to the World Cup. They can't enter the World Cup on a losing note.
So Russia has Arsenal target, or used to be an Arsenal target, Alexander Kokorin, who plays for Zenit St. Petersburg, and they have Yuri Zhirkov.
But again, see, Russia has an advantage that most of the players are used to playing in Russia. So
that doesn't mean anything, right?
It does.
Why?
Home turf advantage.
Okay, one question about Saudi Arabia. Since you've already written them off and you probably will not talk much about them. There is a Saudi Arabian player who has a bit of football history associated with his name. He is one of the 8 players to score in World Cups 12 years apart from each other. Tell me his name. I'm sure you don't know his name.
Obviously I don't know his name.
Sami Al-Jabbar.
Did you know his name before you researched this?
No, I had to actually read up about Saudi. We don't watch Saudi Arabia. What do we want to...
Who watches Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabians.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
No, it's a big surprise because, apparently Indians don't watch India play. And our captain had to come out and such a sad moment.
I mean, this is not even the right occasion to talk about it. And Egypt, without Mo Salah, they are still a pretty strong squad. Though they never won any match in the World Cup.
No, but they have Mo, the other Mo. I think all of them are Mo.
Mohammed to Mohammed. Mohammed to Mohammed. Did you see the comedy bit?
Yes.
He's like, I didn't know Mohammed was such a popular name. I forget this guy's name, but he was on like Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He said, I didn't know Mohammed was the world's most popular name till I saw an Egyptian football match where the commentator went, Mohammed to Mohammed. Mohammed to Mohammed. Mohammed passes to Mohammed. Mohammed gives the ball to Mohammed.
Mohammed
scores. Yeah! So other than the Mohamed Salah, we know
Mohamed Al-Nani.
El-Nani.
El-Nani is there, and so they have a couple of good players.
Ramadan Shobi.
He did well for Stoke.
You can't even say if they did well for Stoke, but yeah, okay, whatever. He's at least played in the top level. So
yeah, he's played in the Premier League.
How important is Mo Salah? Mo Salah obviously we know is going to be a big miss, but do you think Egypt can manage without Mo Salah to at least be in contention?
Against Saudi, they'll definitely win without Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Against Uruguay, depends on if the real Uruguay turns up, because they have a strong squad, but
Luis Suarez, Cavani, Diego Godin, they're quite a strong team.
Yeah. And they're the favourites to top the group. I think between Russia and Egypt, I would still pick Egypt to edge it. Especially if Salah turns up in their head-to-head game.
Yeah, the thing is, I was just reading that Russians are really not very hopeful of, of their team doing well. But it would be such a shame, right? If you are hosting the World Cup, you would really want your team to do at least qualify for the knockout stages.
I think if they were not hosting the World Cup, Russia would not have qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, actually, when the draw came out, it seemed whoa, it could be something which Russia can look forward to. But the more and more you think about it...
when the draw came out, people were not anticipating Mo Salah to be...
Alright, so who are your... Yeah, it's true. Who are your top picks? What is your running order for 1, 2, 3, 4 in the group?
So I'd go for Uruguay, Egypt, Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Okay, will Uruguay win all the 3 matches?
I doubt. I think 2 wins and a draw.
Yeah, 2 wins. Okay, that's yeah. Okay, fine. Who will they draw? Saudi. Imagine that will be so much fun if Uruguay draws Saudi.
There has to be some excitement in the group. This is, I think, the most boring group of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's interesting only because of Russian teams. And
no, it's interesting only because of Mo Salah. If you take Mo Salah out of it,
come on, Russian fans can do some things which could make it interesting.
But I think Russian fans do their stuff outside the stadiums, not inside.
Sure. So that was your boring group. So if you move from boring group A to interesting group B, which is Spain, Portugal.
This is basically the Mediterranean get together.
Yeah, so let's list Spain, Portugal,
Morocco,
and
Iran.
Cool.
The Asian champions.
Iran. I'm so happy, man. I think Iran, they're probably a little underrated, but...
Yeah, but again, they've not had much experience of playing at the top level.
Yes, so this first game of the group is Spain versus Portugal.
I think Spain edges it. Spain
edges?
Yeah.
Really? Just edges it?
No, because Portugal has the player, the manager.
Portugal has 5 people who are so old as well. I started watching football in, let's say, 1994 and 98 properly. They've been defenders for Portugal since then. They've just the IVM podcast was not even conceived by then. Imagine how old these guys are.
Were they also frozen in time
why are there no defenders in Portugal that have to keep playing the same guys over and
Bruno's
over
still
again?
in the squad, right?
Yes.
But Bruno again, had a good season with Brighton and Hove.
So Portugal's key people are basically William Carvalho and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think if he turns up against Spain, then Spain will probably edge it. Just
if he turns up, but someone has to pass the ball to him.
Yeah, this is like the NBA finals.
Okay, let's talk about a team which is an embarrassment of riches and which is probably one of the favorites to win the World Cup.
Yeah,
Spain. What do you talk about a Spanish squad which was aging, let's say, till last World Cup? A lot of things have changed, and now they're stronger. They look so much stronger. There's Isco, David Silva, David De Gea is there, Sergio Ramos, the eternal villain, is there. There's the Diego Costa.
Costa. Yeah. And this is something which they did not have earlier. When they were playing their tiki-taka, they did not have that dark side, that edge to them. Right now, even PK is, in of the same Sergio Ramos school of defending.
Yeah.
And then they have Sergio Busquets.
And they're 4 World Cup winners, which is Iniesta, Sergio Ramos, Gerard Piqué and David Silva.
And also when you look at the youngsters who have come in,
Isco is a prime example of.
Isco is there, Vasquez is there.
Yeah, and a lot of people.
Did you see that assist Lucas Vasquez gave yesterday?
Oh man, this whole Spanish team is so, and that's why I'm so surprised you said that Spain is just edging Portugal, because if Cristiano shows up, Cristiano needs 10 other people to perform as well.
Like I was saying, this is, Cavs against the Warriors. LeBron is just, he's playing out of his body. He's like having a wonderful season, and then they're still, losing by 20 points each game.
And let's talk about two teams together, which is Morocco and Iran.
Again, exciting teams.
I actually have a feeling that Portugal may go out in the group stage.
And who do you pick to qualify? Morocco?
Probably Morocco. They are quite good. They're not bad. They're not bad as a team at all.
I think none of these teams are bad. Even Iran, they have a couple of...
Okay, who manages Iran? Who's Iran's manager? Okay, one more hint. He was ex-Manchester United assistant manager. One more hint. He was a Real Madrid manager. His name starts with Carlos. Who do you think manages Iran?
This is that Manchester United assistant manager.
Absolutely right. Carlos Queiroz.
Carlos Queiroz, yeah.
Well done, Kumar. You do know your football.
No, but Iran is, in the Asian...
I half expected you not to know the answer, but yeah, just half. And Mehdi Benashia of Juventus basically is the captain of Morocco. These two teams are so good that they're not so good, but I don't think Portugal is good enough.
It's not a walkover like playing against Saudi, basically.
Yeah, it need not be walkover, but it's not an easy ride for them. And I think if Spain basically gives a thrashing to Portugal, like how Portugal had in the previous World Cup when Germany walloped them 4-0, then it's going to be a long road. And I don't think even Cristiano will be able to save them from the group stage.
But I would still think that they'll make it to the.
All right, let's have a bet then. You say Spain, Portugal.
Yes.
And who will finish third and fourth?
I will go for Morocco and then Iran.
Morocco and Iran. And I would say Spain, Morocco, Iran and Portugal.
That is a bold call.
Yeah, why not?
And we have it on record now.
Yeah, if I'm making a bold call, I may as well just make it a really bold call. What say, Gaurav? Gaurav gives a thumbs up. That's all I care about, my producer's happiness. And that's about Group A and B. Next week, we are going to Russia 2 weeks from now. World Cup is so close. So next week we will preview all other groups, and there's so much more. There's Germany to talk about. There's France.
I think the favorites, Brazil is on an incredible run of
Exactly.
form.
There's so many teams to talk about, and that's something to look forward to in the next episode. And for today's episode, that's it. Listeners, if you haven't followed us, which I wouldn't know why you haven't, please follow us on Instagram at the Football Twaddle. Facebook page is the same name, and on Twitter we are at the Footy Twaddle. Please rate us on iTunes as well. And on that note, Kumar Kanau.
We'll see you guys next week.
Adios. Bye bye.
As you can see, we have a podcast listener in his natural habitat. Millions of years of evolution have led him to this point. He's on his way to work, and listening to podcasts makes his miserable day better. He will now head to work and use all his knowledge to communicate with other colleagues and possibly future mates. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out all the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.